It's been more than a week since police say somebody lit this house on fire, killing 7-year-old Isaac Vallejo. It's still unclear how it happened, but Teresa says when she tried helping Richard, he was here on the ground where you now see this memorial. She says all 5 dogs were on him. The fight is not over yet, though. Crews are still facing challenges out here, including triple-digit temperatures, steep terrain, and drought-stricken dead trees. Scammers somehow got a hold of their bank account information, and they were trying to cash checks, realistic-looking checks like the one I'm holding right here. Caroline, we're getting a closer look at where this happened last night. Initially, police got a call about a car crashing into a brick wall. You could see this is where that happened.
Y las autoridades emiten una nueva alerta de fraude ante la desesperación de quienes buscan vacunarse contra el coronavirus.
Right now, we're about 700 feet above the ground, but the pilot here can control the altitude with this burner.
Well, this is one of the hundreds of homes destroyed by the fire, and you can see all that's left now is broken glass, debris, and ashes.
When he noticed some flames in his backyard spreading through the apartment, luckily they were able to get out uninjured, but you can see behind me, all hands are on deck. En este cuadro podemos ver miel a los alrededores, polen y crías.
Fortunately, the family of 5 living here was able to evacuate, but as you can see, it's pretty bad. They're telling me that this house is going to be a total loss. You can see all that smoke billowing from the windows. I noticed some flames poking out from the back. Full of regrets. Ah!
I'm gonna send it back to you guys. Okay, bye.
Sometimes you break out with like rash.
Time in some Central Valley communities ticks slower.
Se siente seca la piel.
For neighbors in Pixley and Tipton, not much has changed over the last 2 decades.
You don't know what the kid's going to develop. They're going to have something happen to them.
They say there must be something in the water. Elena Saldivar lives in Pixley, a small town in Tulare County.
Mira, si voy a cocinar, hay que tener agua de botella.
She tells the Fresno Bee and Univision 21 she cooks with bottled water.
When you even boil the drinking water, it's still not safe to drink.
We met with Tulare County Supervisor for District 4, Eddie Valero.
There has been a push to get more residents clean and affordable drinking water.
Look at this Fresno Bee map with stats from the state's drinking water database. See all those red spots?
A lot of arsenic, a lot of nitrates.
Over an 18-month period beginning in September 2020, scammers targeted the city of Ridley in an attempted check fraud scheme.
They were writing checks that were really not on Reedley check stock, but it said City of Reedley, and it even had our actual bank account on there.
City manager Nicole Ziba says altogether, those checks added up to nearly $20,000.
They were taking them to liquor marts, to Targets, to Raleigh Supermarket, up in places like Sacramento, Placerville, away from the valley, and having these checks cashed.
Here's a screenshot from a surveillance video of a store up in Placerville. Ziba says these suspects cashed some of those checks, but Reedley PD hasn't been able to identify any suspects yet.
We do know that some of these retailers, particularly the small little liquor marts, they're out those dollars, and it's very unfortunate.
Ziba says the city caught on to this early on.
Each one of these checks was caught before the bank cashed it. So the city of Reedley and its taxpayers were not out a single dollar in the scam.
The checks varied. Here's one check for $850, and then there's this one for just $55. The city manager says crooks tried smaller amounts in hopes it would go unnoticed, but they didn't even spell Reedley right on the check. In another part of the scam, someone pretended to be then Mayor Frank Piñon and texted a staffer asking them to buy gift cards.
She absolutely thought it could be the mayor.
The city manager says they caught on to that too. She says the city has training about phishing scams as well as a firewall to protect them against hackers. Similar practices were implemented in Fresno recently after the city lost about $600,000 in a wire fraud.
Our budget is so small. Us small cities, we have small budgets. I sort of joke with my staff sometimes that what happened in Fresno is, a rounding error to them. It could be our entire budget.
Now, this is still an open investigation with Wheatley police to try and see who was behind these scams. But again, no taxpayer dollars were lost during these attempted scams. Reporting from Wheatley, Nathalie Vera, CBS 47 Eyewitness News.
We miss you, Forrest. We miss Paul.
The Central Valley biker community is strong.
We have over 300 people here.
They're 2 riders short.
My brother Paul and his son Forrest were in an accident on Albury, and God took them home.
That was back on January 8th.
Even now, I'm trying not to cry too much.
On Saturday, Forrest and Paul's crew decided to honor them the only way they know how. Traveling up the same road where they passed together. 3 riders also got into an accident on Aubrey Road this time. No fatalities, though.
Unfortunately, riding motorcycles is extremely dangerous. And we, within the club, we're always preaching safety and how to be safe.
The club preaches love, too.
That's what we're doing today. We're helping a brother and his father out in our community.
The tribute ride ended at Stonehouse Tavern.
This is one of Paul's favorite spots.
That's where they had a fundraiser for the King family.
I flew out from New York City, and Pedro flew out from Florida.
Through their shared love for the open road,
with him in our mind,
and through their shared pain,
it hurts us too.
The crew says they take comfort in knowing Forrest and Paul are looking down on them today.
Smiling on us.
They passed away and got called home doing what they loved to do.
Reporting in Aubrey, Nathalie Vera, CBS 47 Eyewitness News.